Good morning. Welcome to meditation for our Sunday service this morning. We are the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, and I am Heather Abbott. I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center, and I am honored, blessed, and grateful to be here this morning with you and to facilitate our meditation this morning. I'm sure you all have noticed here, and the ones of you in North Carolina, how beautiful our trees are right now. I drive for one of my jobs, and Friday I was out driving, and I was just awed all day, just delighted with all of the colors and noticing how the trees are changing, and some of them are still green, but they're red in parts and yellow in parts, and just giddy, really. I do love trees, but this time of the year, they just seem to be on display, a beauty pageant of nature for us. And from that thought, I picked a daily guide reading from our wonderful Science of Mind magazine to read for you today. And first, I have a quote from Saeed Nursi, and he said, "The magnificent cosmos is a palace that has the sun and the moon as its lamps and the stars as its candles. Time is like a rope or ribbon hung within it, onto which the glorious Creator each year threads a new world." And the reading is from Reverend Dr. Petra Wells, who is the co-spiritual director at CSL Dallas. "This is what I know for sure. Despite human interference and disagreement, the world is a glorious place. There is so much beauty in nature, art, creativity, and love. There is joy in our treasured memories, in our highest hopes, and in the present moment. There are countless opportunities for innovation, ingenuity, and possibility thinking. There are ways forward that allow us to progress sustainably with inclusion, conservation, and cooperation. Yet often we sleepwalk through life. When we are solely focused on our bills or social media or what we don't have, we are missing what's always already there. No matter the traumas, tribulations, or obstacles, there is much to be grateful for. We just have to wake up and see it. No matter how small or inconsequential it seems to us, every moment we spend in praise and gratitude makes a difference. The radiant truth is that each and every one of us is a place where this magnificent cosmos is waking up to its own beauty, bounty, and goodness. Our lives are candles waiting to be lit by the light of love. Our relationships are strung on ribbons of the heart. The planet gives us a palace for a home with plenty and prosperity enough for everyone. Every day is a day for wonder, praise, and gratitude. Look around for the beauty. Seek out the bounty. Focus on the goodness. Praise the possible. Wonder at the mysterious. Spend time in gratitude. Let's create a glorious future together." Now I invite you to close your outer eyes if you're comfortable. Get comfortable in your seating and turn within for about a 12-minute meditation. And then we'll come out with a short quote and prepare for the service ahead. Bring your attention back into your bodies, back into your rooms. And I'd like to share with you an affirmation from Reverend Wells and then a quote from Ernest Holmes. Reverend Wells' affirmation is, "Every person, moment, and possibility is an expression of a magnificent cosmos. There is beauty, bounty, and goodness everywhere." And Ernest Holmes said, "Make every day a day of praise and thanksgiving, a day in which we recognize the divine bounty and the eternal goodness." Thank you for joining me for our meditation today. We'll have about a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back for service at 10:45. See you then. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living and our celebration service. I don't know if this day showed up for you like it did for me this morning, but in our pray-in this morning, I used the word delicious, and it was a delicious day. It was amazing driving here on Tryon in Cary. I experienced the most vivid yellows and oranges and greens and browns and reds that I had ever seen. There was something about the lighting, the way that the sun was shining. Maybe it was the crispness of the air or something, but it was more magnificent than I had ever seen it. So I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that today is a good God day. Woo! Yay! So let's get it going. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I have the privilege and the honor of being the spiritual director of this amazing community. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. And Centers for Spiritual Living, we believe that there is one God, and that God is not outside of us on some cloud somewhere doling out punishments and rewards at whim, but literally within us and surrounding us, there is an energy that is benevolent and loving and everywhere at all times in its fullness and in its wholeness. There is literally no place where God is not. We believe that God is the creative force back of everything that there is. And because we were created in its image and likeness, we too have that ability to be creative. And in fact, are using that ability each and every single moment of our lives. That our thoughts, our ideas, our beliefs, our feelings, and therefore the actions that we take out of those creates the life that we are living. So for me, that's the really good news. Some take it as a too heavy of a responsibility to shoulder, but for myself, I believe that it's the good news, because if I don't like the experience I'm having, then what that means for me is that I have the ability to change it. Change your thinking, change your life. So we meet and we gather together on Sundays and on Zoom on Wednesdays and through classes and other social events as a community to support each other as we walk this spiritual path. So we are very, very glad that you have decided to join us today. I have a couple of announcements right off the bat. I would love to invite everyone in this community or any guests that happen to be listening this morning to a Thanksgiving Eve, meaning the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. I think it's 24th of November, to a concert that we are holding to thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for hanging in there over the last couple of years. And in order to thank you, I've amassed a trio of magnificent musicians to entertain us for an hour and a half or so. The lovely Cindy Johnson, who also happens to be here this morning. Indeed. And Sandy Hemingway, and an old favorite who hasn't been with us for a little bit of time, Amy Steinberg. So it's going to be an amazing concert. It will be live on Facebook and also on YouTube. So please join us 7 o'clock until about 8:30 or so for this amazing Thanksgiving Eve concert. And then on Thanksgiving Day, instead of doing it the way that I have done it for I think since 2010, other than last year and one other time, I've always been able to get up at the crack of dawn and go into our kitchen at the center and roast a turkey. And then we've been able to come together on Thanksgiving Day and break bread and laugh and hug each other and love each other up for what is my absolutely favorite holiday. Since we can't do that this year, once again, as we did last year, we will be just doing something online. And so join me on Zoom at 10 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day, and I will host and facilitate a meditation. And then I'll talk a little bit about gratitude, and then we'll have a meditation. And then after that, we'll go all around the Hollywood squares where everyone will be able to voice into the room, into that space, what they're grateful for, just like we would if we were sitting around the table together. So I invite you to come and do that for about an hour or so, 10 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day. Join us on Zoom. The links will be sent out through Constant Contact a little later. Next week you'll get those. So I think those are the two big main announcements that I had for this morning. The other thing that I'd like to say is we have the awesome, the magnificent, the wonderful, our friend, great minister, great speaker, lovely man and father and husband, the awesome, what was your name again? Oh yeah. Andy Ross, Reverend Andy Ross is in the house today. And so we are so very glad that he is joining us. Woo! I would like to also, speaking about Thanksgiving, I would love to thank Heather Abbott for her beautiful meditation that she had earlier today, which really deepened the container for our service to unfold within. And speaking of Heather, I'd love to invite her in this moment back up to the podium. Heather Abbott.
Thank you, Dusty. Our theme for the month of November is Breathe in the View. Reverend Andy's talk title today is Seeing Beauty, Feeling Grace. I am now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. Now I would like to invite you to turn within, open your hearts and mind, and allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowl to simply wash over you. Bring your attention back into your bodies and back into the room. And now, the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Please welcome Rhiannon Gooding, who will be assisting us this morning. Thank you, Rhiannon. Appreciate it. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you. Now is the time for our flower dedication. And today's beautiful flowers are dedicated to Reverend Andy Ross from the entire TCSL community. In this month of gratitude, we want to thank you for being a loving member of our TCSL family. In the shifting sands and circumstances for TCSL, particularly over the past 2 years, you have always been one of the spiritual rocks for our community. While we began quarantining in the early days of the pandemic, when we needed you, you were willing to come to our center and do a live service for us to broadcast. When we moved to an entirely remote service, some of us may have wondered how a man who's known for clearing the stage before conducting one of his roaming talks could adapt to a seated service. But you did it brilliantly, and were still able to convey the electric energy we associate with your services. As we moved to in-person services here at Sophie's, you were willing to show up in person once again. Even when you were sick at home with COVID, you managed to deliver an amazing talk, living up to that old adage, in our business, the service must go on. And whether it was in person or over the computer, in sickness or in health, you always delivered that special Andy sauce. Your talks channel the spiritual wisdom of an Eckhart Tolle or a Deepak Chopra, with the intimacy and connection of Oprah, accompanied by the comedic delivery of the best performers at Saturday Night Live. You are someone special, and we are so blessed to have you as part of our spiritual team. We love you, we see you, and we know who you are. Thank you. Now I would like to invite you to turn within as I speak a word of blessing. This glorious, delicious day, it is so evident the amazing spirit that is surrounding us. That presence that is a thread that connects us all. That presence that shows in the beauty of nature, in the sweet babble of a child, in the abundance and prosperity that flows through all our lives. Spirit shows up as love, as joy, as peace. Spirit is all of creation, and all of creation is good. I know that I am one with that source. I am one with that energy of peace, love, and joy. I am one with the beauty of nature. I know that is the truth of me, as I know that is the truth of each of you, that we are all held, supported, fueled, and funded in every possible way by the love that is God. And from that place of unity, I speak a word of blessing on this service today, knowing it is already perfect and complete in the mind of God. I speak a word of blessing on Reverend Andy as he comes to deliver what I'm sure will be a electrifying and delicious sermon, one that allows Spirit to flow through him to deliver the exact message that each of us needs to hear today. I speak a blessing on the amazing Cindy Johnson for her gift of music and song. And I speak a word of blessing on Ava as she holds down the AV, allowing this message to go out to so many in our community and into the world. And I speak a word of blessing on Reverend Dusty for the leader that she is in our community and for the love that she brings to us through all of our offerings. And I speak a word of blessing on the community. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living would not exist without each and every person that brings their talents and their gifts and their treasure to our center. And from this place of unity, I bless today's service, knowing that it flows with ease and grace. And with gratitude in my heart, grateful to know these truths, I anchor this and invite you to join me by saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you. The reading for today is a Navajo blessing. It says, "O beauty before me, beauty behind me, beauty to the right of me, beauty to the left of me, beauty above me, beauty below me. I'm on the pollen path." Now, please welcome the beautiful, the talented Cindy Johnson.
That Navajo blessing sounds like gratitude before me, gratitude behind me. So we're grateful for all the beauty all around us. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, I think they're saying, "I love you." I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Is that good? No? Pull it up. It's weird. I've been doing this for so long, but I'm just not very good with microphones. Push it. How's that? Is that good? Is that good? Hi, everyone. Hey. Thank you. 20 minutes ago, I stepped out of a stall in the ladies' bathroom. And I locked eyes with Diane. And what I saw in her face, in her eyes, was not judgment. It was not even surprise. It was just, hey. And I said, am I in the wrong bathroom? She said, no. And she walked out, and sure enough, there are here at Sophie's, there are high-heeled shoes all around. And I'm like, oh, okay. That is acceptance. That is non-judgment. That is love. And that is what I feel every time I'm here. Every time I'm here, it's like I am walking out of a stall in the woman's bathroom. It hasn't always been easy being this type of minister, this unsacred, sacred person, this irreverent reverend. But here, and I don't mean just here at Sophie's, I mean here within this community, here within your embrace, here within your love, I have always felt at home. And your acceptance, your wisdom, your beauty, your love of me on this journey as I've gone through so many things, you have been the constant in my life, one of the constants in my life. And for that, I am grateful. There are no words to describe how grateful I am. So thank you for having me back once again. For you at home, what's up? Welcome. I don't know if you're here in North Carolina, but you've heard it time and time again this morning. It is delicious outside. It is delicious. As I'm driving in this morning, that Navajo prayer is washing over me. Beauty in front of me, beauty behind me, beauty above me, beauty below me, beauty to the right of me, beauty to the left of me. This is the pollen path. This time of year, this cycle between life and death, as life shifts and changes and moves into the darkness of winter, we're just blessed by this bounty of creation. It's awesome. It's amazing. And if I was a wise man, much wiser than someone who stumbles into the woman's bathroom, for serendipitous reasons, I would just tell you to go outside and look around. Don't listen to me. I have no wisdom that is compared with witnessing this. But I'm not going to do that. I want to talk for a few minutes. And then this talk will be an introduction. And after the service, I'd like for you to go outside and witness the beauty of creation. And that'll be the real sermon. That'll be the real talk. Because there's nothing I can say that's better than what's happening in life right now. So please, when you're done with me, get out and witness this. And if you're not in North Carolina, if you're in Alaska, do it anyway. Snow, it's beautiful as well. I find God in so many places. So many places. I find God in you. When I look at you, I'm like, there you are. 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 When I walk outside and I see this breathtaking creation, breathtaking because it takes my breath away, I see God. In music, when I listen to jazz or rock or hip hop or anything, I hear this echo of divinity. I find it everywhere, but there's nowhere that I find God more than a good idea. That's right. Shocking, isn't it? A good idea. I love a good idea. Now, ideas are limited, just like words. Ideas are small. They can't contain all of what God is, but a good idea is like a window. It's like a window, and you look through that idea, and you're like, yes, that's it. And the bigger the idea, the more of God. It's called, in the Hindu traditions, it's called jnana yoga. Jnana. The J has a little over it, or the N has a over it. Jnana yoga, the yoga or the discipline of contemplation. That's my jam. That's my jam. So I'm always looking for ideas, and those ideas come up in stories. Those ideas come up here when you're talking. Those ideas come up in your pain, in your transformation. Those ideas come to me, and I'm like, yes, let me just hold on to this story. Let me just eat it up because it's delicious. Delicious. That's the word for the day. So a couple weeks ago, Dusty beckons me, says, you are coming to the center on this date. And I said, okay, because you don't say no to God. You just say, yes, when can I be there? And she said, I want you to talk about this. And as soon as I read that word grace took me to an idea. There's a Catholic theologian, his name is Karl Rahner. And Karl Rahner defines grace this way. And this idea is I just love it. Karl Rahner defines grace as God's self-communication. He has an image. The image is God reaching out God's hand to us and just holding it there. And as a Catholic theologian, as a Christian theologian, he thinks Jesus, the Christ within us, is the one who reaches back, is the one who says, yes, when can I come? So I've been thinking about that all week, God's self-communication. Now, God doesn't choose to communicate with us. God doesn't say, Susan, today I'm going to talk to you, and you need to listen. No, God is communicating God's self always because that's what God is. God is giving. God is compassion. God is self-empty. And in creation is an expression of God and of that communication. So it's everywhere. God's grace is everywhere. God just communicating itself to us, saying, here I am, here I am, here I am. And life is that. It's not a choice God makes. Life is that. And that's grace. Grace is God just giving itself to us. God just reaching out and saying, John, I'm here, man. I'm here. Hold my hand. I'm here. I've washed it. I'm here. You can't see it at home, but John's reaching back. You are the Christ. You are the anointed one. And so I've been thinking about that definition, that idea of grace all week. But I'm also thinking of another idea, an idea that I've held on to for a long time. I think that contains a lot of the truth of what God is. Creation is an expression of God. Every tree, every squirrel, every mosquito, yes, every mosquito, every grain of sand has as much God in it as the universe itself, as the cosmos and what's ever beyond the cosmos. So if life is an expression of God, if every moment is a full expression of God's self-communication, then that must mean that life is grace and grace is life. Everywhere we go. We don't always like it. We don't always enjoy it, but every moment of every day, life is grace. And that's the journey I want us to take today. Through life, through grace, finding out how we can see it always. And I'm pointing outside. You can't see the windows. I'm pointing outside. How we can see it every day and how it can transform us to become that. So I went to the phone. That's where you go nowadays, to the phone. And I said, hey, Siri, define grace. And Siri took me somewhere, I think to Webster's. Do we still have Webster's dictionary? We do. That's where it took me, to the Webster's. And under the definition of grace, because I was like, if life is grace and life is God's self-communication, I wonder what other definitions there are that we can eat up and play with because it's delicious. So I went to Siri. Hey, Siri. She said, yes. You know how Siri has accents? Mine's a southern woman from Georgia. Says, yeah. She says, yes, Andy. I said, Siri, define grace. And she says, hold on one minute. Let me look it up. She gave me three. She gave me three definitions. The first two are nouns. The first definition of grace, refinement of movement, elegance. Refinement of movement, elegance. That's grace. It's a noun. What's a noun? That's a noun. The second definition, courteous goodwill. Refinement of movement and elegance, number one. Number two, courteous goodwill. And number three, the third definition of grace, not a noun, but a verb, to honor someone or something by one's presence. So because of Carl Rahner, I got to thinking maybe I can define life in those three ways, and that'll change the way I see it. So number one, life is graceful. Life is refinement of movement. Life is elegant. Sometimes that's very easy to see. This morning I'm outside looking at the trees. That's elegance. It's refinement of movement, the way the tree bends with the breeze, the way the leaf falls. I remember I was walking at the park in fall, and I looked to the left of the path I was on, and the leaves were scurried about. Do leaves scurry? They were scattered. They're scurried. No, I like the first one better. The leaves were scurried about. I'm thinking every leaf on the ground fell exactly where it needed to fall. I could not consciously, self-reflectively place those leaves in any better pattern. Refinement of movement, elegance. When you hold a child for the first time, maybe your grandchild, Graham. Elegance, refinement of movement, beauty. Rain as it comes down, snow, heat. Sometimes it's very easy to see how graceful life is, how beautiful life is, but not always. I work in a hospital, and I see a lot of suffering. I witness a lot of suffering, a lot of death, a lot of life. And in those moments, it's hard. It's hard to hold in my heart. When I'm wise, I let it through me. I let it all in and I let it all out. But if I bear witness without judgment, if I just look at what's happening at the beginning of life, at the end of life, and everything in between, I cannot deny that it's graceful, that it's beautiful. A daughter saying goodbye to her father, the other side of love, grief. Sickness bounds us, binding us to a bed. It's beautiful. It's not easy. It's not pleasant, but it's graceful. On my way to work every single morning, I pass this homeless camp. It's weird. It's tucked in these trees on the off-ramp as I'm driving. And as I drive by, it's tucked in the trees. It's got all this stuff, like all this makeshift camp stuff, all these carts. And in my small self, Dusty, I have to let the small self out for just a minute. My small self is a cat. I think, ugh, it's so ugly. I have to drive by this. I mean, it's an eyesore on my perfect morning. It's an eyesore. But if I see it, if I bear witness to it, and by bear witness, I mean see it without judgment, like someone walking into the girls' bathroom. If I see it without judgment, then I realize there's an elegance and a beauty to this camp, to human beings living their life on the outskirts of our society. What they've gone through and yet still surviving, what they've been through, what they're going through and still surviving, thriving. There's an elegance to that when I put my judgment to the side and just bear witness to it. Life is graceful. Life is elegance of movement. If we just look, we see it. Numero dos, number two. Life is an act of grace. Life is an act of courteous goodwill. Did you know that you have everything you need right here? Arisen, I like putting weird words together to sound, in the moment they sound right. Arisen from the dust. You are dust, with the breath of God animating you, coming into a world that gives you everything you need. You have everything you need. Life is abundant. It is an act of grace. Here. You want to eat? It comes from the ground, from the animals. You want to breathe? There's plenty of air. You want to grow? You're going to grow. Life moves through you. Everything you need is right around you. Life is an act of courteous goodwill. God is just giving, not because God chooses to, because that's what God is, giving. It's all around you. Life is an act of grace. And everything you need in every moment is right around you if you just look and accept it. Human beings, we love to hoard. We love to keep mine, me, mine. And it takes this act of courteous goodwill and it sections it off. But if you can feel it, if you feel what life is trying to do, life will not be contained. Life will not be defied. Another one of those words. Life will break free of all constraints. That's where suffering comes from. According to the Buddha, suffering comes from grabbing. You know why? Because that thing you're grabbing is trying to get out. It's like holding on to a fractious cat. Next time you try to hold on to something, next time you try to keep something, whether it's your life, your health, or anything, remember, life is a fractious cat. And as you hold it, that's where suffering comes from that gripping. See, life is bountiful. And no matter who tells you, there's plenty to go around. Life is a constant act of courteous goodwill. There's plenty for everyone because we've all come from this earth. We've all come from the soil. We are stardust. We are God experiencing life. And why would God create if there wasn't enough? God is enough. God is boundless. Boundless, John? Boundless. So not only is life graceful, elegant, beautiful, life is an act of grace. Life is courteous goodwill. There's plenty to go around. I'm driving by this homeless camp. And I see what they've done with the shit I throw away. How wasteful am I? And they've taken that and they said, no, I'll take that. There's plenty. Give me some. You have too much. Damn right I have too much. Because and they've made that into a home. And bless them for that. How can I give more? Life is abundant. An act of grace. Número 3. That's right. Habla español. Número 3. Life is grace filled. The third definition, if I remember it, to honor someone or something by one's presence. Life is grace filled. Did you know that you have a gift to give? Did you know that? Did you know that you have a gift to give? And that gift is your presence? And that every other gift that you can give stems from that one gift? Whether you sing, whether you paint, whether you work in a hospital or run a community, whether you write or do something on computers. You've explained it to me so many times. Or something on computers. Your gift to the world is just an expression of your presence. That's what he does all day. That's what he does. Diane says, yes, that's what he does. That's annoying. Your presence is the thing you have to give. It's how you honor someone. You want to honor someone? Show up. Show up. I have this wonderful job. I'm a chaplain at a hospital. And when people ask me, like, what do you do? What is your job? It's like, I show up. That's it? Yeah. And they pay you? Yeah. Suckers. I just show up. And there is such beauty and courteous goodwill in showing up. Just being present, saying, yes, I am here. Because that's what God does. What do you think life is? Life is God showing up. When God shows up, you have life. It's closest to the Runnerian, the Karl Rahner definition as a self-communication, God's self-communication. Life honors us with its presence. When you go out there and look around, it's like life is bowing to you, saying, hello, hello, hello. And then you bow back. Namaste. I see the God in you. Your presence and my presence are one, and we're just trying to figure this out and give each other that. Life is grace-filled. Every moment. Even the moments that you're like, I don't like this moment, moments of transformation. I don't like this moment. I'm the caterpillar breaking down in the cocoon. It's painful. But even that is grace-filled. Filled with the presence of God, and all you got to do is show up. That's it. The prerequisite of life. What does God want from you? We complicate it. We complicate it. We complicate it. I complicate it. I've been talking for how many minutes? I complicate it. I'm sorry. Go outside. I complicate it. Here's the thing you have to do. Here's what's asked of you. Show up. I'm going to breathe my life into you, Adam, Eve. Now all you got to do is show up. That's life. That is life. There's a word. Latin, maybe? You'll know, Dusty. Imago Dei. Is that Latin? You don't know. I don't. I look to you. Imago Dei, it means the image of God. We were all made in the image of God. We weren't made in the image of God. We are the image of God. We are guard. Sorry. We have this picture at home. It says, oh my gourd, it's fall. Oh my gourd. So I've been saying gourd for the last couple of weeks. So gourd made you. God made you through an expression of itself. That's you, Imago Dei, the image of God, walking around here. That means that you are graceful. That means that you are an act of grace. And that means that you are grace-filled in everything you do. And if you start to show up, and by show up, I mean show up. Like, well, I'm here, I'm showing up, right? Well, yes, but I mean be present. Mindfulness, full mind, big mind, be here, wherever here is. Here might be pleasant, here might be painful, here might be small, here might be big, but show up, bear witness, and see how delicious life is. Be that act of grace for someone. Be that elegance, that beauty in your brokenness. Did you know the Japanese, you know what they do with broken bowls? Have you heard this? You've heard this. You've heard this? In Japan, when a bowl or ceramic breaks, they take it and they put it back together, and they take the cracks and they inlay them with gold, because the cracks are what makes it beautiful. Show up in your brokenness. Show up. Be present and give someone your beauty, your elegance, and witness their beauty and their elegance. Show up as an act of courteous goodwill. Give your presence away. Just give it. Just give it. The Good Samaritan. Man, lots of good stories. I'm so sorry I'm confusing you. Lots of good stories. The Good Samaritan. What did the Good Samaritan do? He showed up. She showed up. That's it. Stopped. You look like you're in pain. Yeah, I'm in pain. Okay, let's talk about it. I will show up for you. Be an act of grace. Be grace-filled, because you already are. And that's the thing. God is reaching out constantly. Through what? Through you. You are that gift that someone's been waiting for. You are that gift. You know, you go by someone on the side of the road and they're broken down and say, oh, someone will stop. It's you. You're the one they've been waiting for. It's hard for me to stop because I know nothing about cars. So like when there's like someone, I stopped once, my wife and I, side of the road. She had a flat tire. I said, I'll try to change it. I didn't do a good job. But a family member of hers showed up just in time before I like destroyed her car. But I showed up. My presence is all I have. Do you have a jack? No. But I have my presence. So here's the thing. This is where it all comes together. I'm hoping. I haven't really planned the end yet, but this is where I think it all comes together right now. Life is grace. You are life. So you are grace. You are God's self-communication. You are how God touches others. Every leaf on every tree is bearing witness to you, and you are bearing witness to every leaf on every tree. Every moment of pain is graceful, an act of grace and grace-filled. Every moment of pleasure is graceful, an act of grace and grace-filled. All the highs, all the mountain peaks where you can see for miles, all the valleys, all the mud where you feel like you cannot take one more step, graceful. All you have to do is show up. That's it. What do I have to do today? Show up. How am I going to live a good life today? Show up. How am I going to get this done? Show up. How can I love more? Show up. How can I give more? You see where we're going? Show up. I'm very, very grateful that all of you have showed up here today and have showed up for me continuously in the past. I'm so grateful because that's the best we can do, and that's all we can do. So this is the introduction to the talk. This is the introduction to the talk. The real talk is when you walk out of here today into that beauty and you start to show up. And you're going to hear something. You're going to hear something when you're fully present. You're going to hear something in silence. You're going to hear something in a soft whisper. You're going to hear something in other people's presences. You're going to see something. You're going to taste something. And it is going to be yes, it's going to be delicious. Yes, she's right. It's going to be, say it with me, delicious. Let's pray together. Oh. Are you going to tickle something? Oh, I'll wait till you tickle something. It makes my words sound better when there's a doo-doo-doo-doo-doo in the background. Dun, 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 dun. Show up. God's calling. Oh, that's it. Creator of all things, who is present within my fingertips. Creator of all things, who is present in everyone in this room and through that camera. Creator of all things, who is present as a leaf falls, as a homeless woman struggles to survive, as a daughter says goodbye, and as a grandfather says hello. God, who creates us all as us. We are grateful. This is the season of gratitude, the season where we look around us and say, man, what a graceful world we live in. God, it's not always easy, and I don't always recognize you within me or you within everyone else, but I seek to show up. And you're reaching out to us always. You're reaching out through me always, through these people always. So help me to pay attention, be that reminder, be that knock at my door so that I can answer. You have given us a mission, one mission, and that's to live this life, to be alive, to be present for it, and to witness the miracle. But help us not to keep the miracle. Help us not to hold on to it. Help us give it away. As you breathe life into us, help us breathe it right back into everyone we meet. This is a good God day. We are grateful. This is a delicious morning. We are grateful for music, nature, and for good ideas. For good ideas. For all of this, we say thank you. Amen. And so it is. So it is. Thank you so much for listening, for being present. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend Andy, for showing up for all of us today in so many really wonderful and amazing ways. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is now time for our conscious giving. It is that time each week when we give something back to this community so that financially we can continue to do and be the beacon of light that we are in the world and continue to do the works that we do. What I know about these gifts, however big or small, is that they prosper the one giving, they assist this community, and they add to the experience of sufficiency on the planet. I'm so grateful for them, however big or small, and so grateful for the presence of each and every person in our community in so many big and small ways. So grateful for all of the ways that you always show up for each other and for the community as a whole. There are a number of different ways that you can give to this community, and they're showing on this slide. You can visit our website at trianglecsl.org. You can text GIVE to 919-230-8445, or you can send a check through snail mail to PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina, 27519. Again, thank you so very much. Please take a moment to put your hand over your heart and to have an affirmation for this community within it, and to say our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. Lived in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. Thank you all so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is now my pleasure to welcome back to her piano the amazing, the talented, the wonderful Cindy Johnson.
There is more than enough in a universe that you created. There is more than enough on a planet of sacred design. There is more than enough for humanity made in your image. Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Why would I worry? Why would I doubt? Why would I ever think I'd go without? Your infinite love made me, made everything I see, and all I will ever be is your infinite love. Let my soul know the truth, whatever we choose to do. Your infinite love will prove more than enough. In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only, there is only love. Love.
Absolutely beautiful. I know you were trying to get me to cry, weren't you, Cindy? If you would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. And on the home page, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We will get that prayer and send it out to all the ministers and practitioners. And if you would like to dedicate a flower dedication for anyone or anything, please also send an email to info@trianglecsl.org or to Reverend Dusty at dustyripplemeyer@yahoo.com. Now, in the comfort of your own home, and for those here in person, please stand for our November affirmation. This is a call and response, and I ask if you would please say it with meaning and repeat after me. I am a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in a spiritual world.
I am a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in a spiritual world.
My spiritual journey operates according to spiritual laws.
My spiritual journey operates according to spiritual laws.
Each point along my path has been integral in shaping who I am today.
Each point along my path has been integral in shaping who I am today.
There is an exquisiteness and perfection to this divine order.
There is an exquisiteness and perfection to this divine order.
As I turn away from appearances, I see every situation from a place of spiritual truth.
As I turn away from appearances, I see every situation from a place of spiritual truth.
As I lift my eyes to the highest view of life, I see the beauty and feel the grace.
As I lift my eyes to the highest view of life, I see the beauty and feel the grace.
As I do so, my life abounds with love, peace, and joy.
As I do so, my life abounds with love, peace, and joy.
I am grateful for everything I am, everything I do, and everything I have.
I am grateful for everything I am, everything I do, and everything I have.
And so it is.
So it is.
Woo, that was powerful. All right, you may sit if you'd like. I would ask you to once again, please turn within as I speak a word of gratitude for our service today. The presence of God is palpable in this moment from this beautiful time together this morning. I know that God surrounds us in the beauty of the trees and in the grace of a neighbor's offer to help, and in the kind smile that you offer a stranger. I know that God is everywhere all of the time. And as we open ourselves up to that presence, it floods our life with love and grace. I know that we are all one with that presence. And from that place of unity, I am so grateful for this service today, for all of the volunteers who gave of their time and talent, for Reverend Andy and for Reverend Dusty, and for the community at large, those present here and those at home, and those that will listen to this in the future. I'm grateful for your presence in my life and for your presence in the life of the center. This is, in fact, a good God day. And so it is.
Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Ava. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Reverend Andy, for showing up today. Thank you all for showing up today. Have a magnificent week, and we'll see you soon. I love you.